What's up everyone, welcome back for another video in the Level Up series where we're looking to take our kayaking from class 3 to class 4 and find all the little things that we have to practice along the way to get ourselves there. This week we're going to talk about how to practice humility, knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them, as that song says. Specifically we're talking about when to portage and when not to portage, and I have learned this mistake the hard way, and I hope that I can communicate my lessons learned through my mistakes to you. I might not be able to, but we'll see how it goes. One thing I think about every time I go kayaking on a new river, or even a river I've done many times before that's challenging, is this idea that you don't have to run everything all the time. And what that means to me is that I've got to kind of keep my ego in check and make sure that I'm running the rapids that I want to run, and I'm not being motivated by anything other than that when I'm choosing which rapids to run and which rapids to portage. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't run hard rapids, and you're going to, as we progress, you're going to be in a position where you're ready to run more and more challenging rapids. But because you haven't run them before, you've always, traditionally portaged them, you're just going to think, oh yeah, I just don't run this one. And I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you need to just keep your ego in check and make sure that you're running the things that you want to run and you're excited about running, and you're maybe intimidated by running, but that's okay. And you're not running the things that you shouldn't be running, or that you probably shouldn't be running, or that you're not sure about. And I've made that mistake before a number of times. And I think you should be seeing a video of the time I wish I'd portaged right now. And here's a clip of me actually portaging another rapid in Quebec. I'm walking this rapid because I'm too chicken. And the main difference between the first video and the second video is the first one, I just didn't have my ego really in check. I thought I saw a line, but I wasn't really sure. The portage wasn't that difficult. I wasn't having that great of a day. My boat just wasn't responding the way I wanted it to respond, and I was like, well, I'm gonna run it anyway. Big-headed, stupid, dumb, and I kind of paid the price for that in the end. Luckily, I didn't get hurt, and luckily, nothing bad happened. But I just let my head get kind of too big for what I was doing. Whereas the second video, and there's so many options for times where I've portaged a rapid on where my ego's been a lot more in check, and it's really hard at first to know when you should run something and when you should walk. But you kind of just have to start getting in tune with the days you're paddling really well and the days you're not paddling really well. And on the days you're not, just being more conservative, and on the days you are, being slightly less conservative. This ability to feel out when you're paddling really well is going to come over time, and as you start these more deliberate practice things that we've been talking about over the last few weeks, you're going to start to get a bit of a better handle on what you're doing exactly and trying to find those fine-tuning things, and then that's going to slowly build a bigger picture for you about when you're doing well and when you're doing not well. That's a skill you're going to really need to hone if you want to be able to keep your ego in check and know when you should run something hard and know when you should leave it alone. A further point to this, and something which I also take to heart pretty frequently, is that just because you've run a hard rapid before doesn't mean you have to run it every single time you go down that river. There's going to be days where you just get to whatever that spot is and you're like, I'm not feeling it today. And if you get to there and you're not feeling it, just take a quick inventory. How are you paddling that day? How's everything going? Like, what else is happening in your life that's making you feel this way? And if you're getting a lot of things in the not feeling it box, and not many things in the I know I can do this box, you need to just get out your boat quickly and quietly, do that portage, and carry on with your day. And that's okay. That's not going to make you any less of a person. You're not any less of a kayaker because you ran this rapid on Wednesday, but then you didn't run it on Saturday. That's just how it is. You're not going to be 100% every day, but over time, your 80% is going to build up and up and up. And over the long picture, where your 100% used to be is not going to be where your 100% is in the future once you've done some more deliberate practice, right? It's going to be way higher. So you got to keep that in mind. You got to keep your ego in check. I know it's easy for me to say, and it's hard to do because you do need a little bit of that like good ego, I call it, where you're like, yeah, I know I can do this. I've got it. But just finding that balance is going to take time. So the main thing to deliberate practice here is just try and get really good at that inventory. Every time you run a rapid, just thinking like, how am I feeling? How have I been paddling so far today? Like, does everything feel good? Does everything feel a bit off? Just taking mental stock about what's happening. And I know this hasn't been a super detailed tactical advice on what to do and what to think about. And I guess maybe I'll need to think about following this video up with another one in the future with more things to think about on this topic. But just keep in mind, you don't have to run everything. All right, that's me. I'll see you next week. Peace.